Hey YouTube, so this is a 2010 VX Deluxe with a 110 1100 MR1 motor, and it's not going over 25 miles an hour even though the RPMs are up. So I'm thinking it's something wrong with the prop. So I'm going to pull the jet pump off and try to figure it out. I do have the original prop up here. There's a Solus prop in there now, so I'm going to put the original back on. And it did like 48 to 50 miles an hour with the original prop. I thought maybe the Solus would give me a little more top end, but it actually gave me less. I don't remember what pitch it was, but I'm just going to swap it back out. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 14 millimeter bolts that got to come out. This nut right here, you get a wrench, take that nut off, that's 10 millimeter, and then you can wheel off the bolt part. It's 10 millimeter. There's some grooves on that part right there, and you can wheel this out, or you can do it from the top with a star bit or a Allen bit. I think it's like a T45 or T50. But and then there's the linkage right there for the reverse. That is just a clip. You just push on it and pop it off. It comes off pretty easy. So I'm gonna wheel these bolts off and take this off, and I'll be right back. All right, and then there's two 12 millimeter bolts at the top here that are on that plate. I forgot you got to get them out first, so I'm gonna get them next. All right, so I got all those bolts out, and that should just pull out for the most part here. All right, and then that was the sprayer in the back. If you want to eliminate that little jet sprayer, you just fold the tube over, and I don't know, I just put a zip tie around it, and it stops it from spraying out. But this right here, this should just pull right off. Yeah. Yep, that just pulls right off, and then that whole cone comes off in one piece. So just looking inside there, I don't really see anything major. But I'm gonna pull this thing out. I gotta use a sometimes they'll just pull out, but this one I think I'm gonna have to use a slide hammer. I have a homemade one somewhere around here, but I'll use that and I'll get this thing rammed out. All right, so I got the impeller out, and it's got this casing has these little tabs on it right here. I couldn't find my slide hammer, so I banged on that tab downward, and then I banged on this tab just back and forth a couple times, and I used the hammer, the forks on a hammer, and just kind of rammed it and pulled it, and it broke loose. But what I think happened is I believe this I have bought this, I think, on eBay, and it had like a urethane ring in it, and like a plastic like insert ring inside this, and I think maybe it got ripped out or it failed and it's not there anymore, because there's a big groove on this side, and this ring right here is off of an SHO, but it's a 155 millimeter, and this one doesn't have that big groove on the one side. So this goes in there like this. I'm just going to put this one in there. Yep, that just goes in there like this. So I'm going to replace it. And if you can see here, this wear ring fits in there really well. See, there's not a lot of space there, and think that's what happened. See how much space is above the top of that? That's exactly what happened. Is this wear ring was one of those eBay ones where it has the insert, the liner in it, and the liner tore out of it. So that's the exact problem. So I'm gonna put this aluminum liner back in there. This is like an OEM, and that should solve all my issues. This thing should be top notch after this. This will also, if the pump isn't working right, that'll also affect your how the engine cools. So you could overheat because you're not getting enough pump pressure, and you might see smoke, or on the side port over there, you might see like smoke coming out of it, or the water only comes out when you're under speed, and that's probably what that was actually happening with this ski. So. Well, this should fix it. I'm going to go ahead and take that inner piece out. They're 12 millimeter. There's 4 of them. So, and then this will pull out, and I'm going to replace it with this other one. This is why you don't buy cheap piece of shit off of eBay. You think you're saving money, but you're just creating more work in the long run. Look, it tore this thing completely apart. Yeah, so don't buy those, trying to think of what the material was. I don't know, it's got like a plastic liner on the inside of these, and they say they're like replaceable, but you're better off just getting an aluminum one. That's supposed to be on here, otherwise this happens. And not only do you ruin a prop, but you mess everything up. Alright, so this is what it looks like with that plate out. But you can see how on the VXs the shaft actually comes through the hull, and you got to maneuver the prop onto the shaft, whereas the SHOs and the GPs and the FZRs and the SVHOs, the shaft actually comes out with the prop. So when you're putting this back in, just be very careful that you get the prop into that. I've seen it where people have put the prop back in, and it went on the side of the shaft, and it's going to not only make a horrible sound, but you're going to ruin it. So make sure the prop is in there. If somebody's got to lay underneath and guide it in, that's what you got to do. But I'm going to put the new piece on. I'm going to put some RTV in the gap there. For whatever reason, there's not any in there, but it helps to stop the water from getting sucked in from there. And then as the layers go out, I'm just going to put RTV around so that it's pretty easy to get off if I ever have to change it again. All right, so I got the new one in. Well, maybe not new, but better. This is the all aluminum one, and you can see I put some RTV around the rim, and there's 2 guide pins inside the bowl holes. There's one on this bottom on the other side, and there's one on the top. Make sure you put those guide pins back in there, and just kind of wheel these bolts by hand just to get them in, and then just tighten one up and then crisscross it, and just keep crisscrossing. And make sure that this gap inside here closes up pretty good, and then just wipe away any excess RTV. Alright, so we got it in. Now I'm going to put this on, and again I'm just going to put some RTV around here, and anywhere where water goes through, you want to just RTV around. I think water passes through here. So you just want to put the RTV around the rim, and then just around those, any kind of water hole. I don't think the other side has one. Nope. But that's it. So we're going to go and do that, and then I'm going to slide this in. I got some help to guide this, guide the drive shaft into there. It's a tight fit, so if you put some grease on the shaft, it definitely makes it easier. So I'm going to get this RTV, and then we're going to try to get it in. All right, so getting this back in is really a pain, especially with a soleless prop, because it's got that little coupling on the front of it. So what I needed help. Somebody went underneath to the intake grate, underneath there, and you can see the shaft through the intake grate. And you could have that person lay underneath there with like something like this, and they can push up and see and try to align the shaft into the prop as you're trying to put it in there. And that's the best way I can say to do it. Sometimes it goes right in, sometimes it doesn't, but this time it didn't. But she's in there now. The clearances look pretty good. It's not too bad. You can see the clearance on the top of the prop and the bottom. So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna put the cone back on now, and start putting the bolts in. All right, so I got it back on. I had a little bit of a hard time getting the 14 millimeter bolts back in. I had to put a lot of grease on them and wheel them in a couple times, in and out. I don't know what happened, but they're in, and I got those 12 millimeter. I got them in, and this hose, make sure you get that on there, because that's for the suction pump for the hull, so you don't sink. That basically creates suction off the back of the pump, and there's a little suction thing underneath the motor, under the shaft, and it sucks water out of the hull as you're driving. And the reverse, there's the reverse lever. It's hard to do it with one hand, so that kind of just goes like so, and then there's you push this. Let's see if I can get it with this hand. You just push down on this outer covering here, and it's spring loaded, and then it just pops on there. Now I gotta get the steering linkage. So that's just going to screw in with a 10 millimeter wrench. You hand tighten it as much as you can, and then wait a second, there should be a nut and a washer. So the washer goes on the bottom with the nut, and everything else is hooked up. So that's pretty much it, and that 100% I would say would be my problem. This thing is going to run a lot better. So please subscribe and like. It definitely helps out. Thank you.